If I asked you to describe the clitoris, what would you say? It's a small button, a little nub at the top of the vulva. If that's what you think, you're not alone. But here's the truth. What you can see is only about 10% of the clitoris. The rest is internal, and it's massive. Hi, I'm Marta, and I help women reconnect to pleasure, desire, and erotic power, starting with understanding their own anatomy. And today, I'm going to show you what the clitoris actually is, why it matters, and how this knowledge changes everything about pleasure. Okay, so let's start with the part that you can actually see, the glans. The glans is that little external part at the top of the vulva, usually covered by the clitoral hood. Here, this little thing. So it's about the size of a pea. This is not to scale, obviously. And it's packed with somewhere between 8 and 10,000 nerve endings. Let me say that again. Somewhere between 8 and 10,000 nerve endings. Now, for reference, the penis has about 4,000 nerve endings. And here's what most people don't know. That glans, it's just the tip of a much larger structure. In fact, the full clitoris has a body or shaft that extends up and back under the skin, two crura or legs that branch off and wrap around the vaginal opening. So the vagina would be here, and two vestibular bulbs that sit on either side of the vagina. So when you map the whole thing out, the clitoris looks more like a wishbone that wraps around the vaginal canal. It's about 4 inches long when it's erect. Yes, erect. Women get erections too. Because just like the penis, the clitoris fills with blood when you're aroused. Now here's the part that changes everything. The internal parts of the clitoris, the legs and the bulbs, they surround the vagina. So when something feels good inside the vagina, you're not actually stimulating the vaginal walls. You're stimulating the internal clitoris through the vaginal walls. And that's why the clitoris isn't separate from vaginal pleasure. It's actually the source of it. So if the clitoris is this big, this important, and this central to pleasure, why weren't we taught this in school? Well, 2 reasons. Number 1, the full anatomy of the clitoris wasn't even mapped until 1998. Let that sink in. We've had detailed maps of the penis for centuries, but the clitoris, that took until the end of the 20th century. And even after it was mapped, it took another decade for that information to make it into medical textbooks. Number 2, female pleasure has never been prioritized in sex education. I mean, think about it. Sex ed is designed around reproduction, not pleasure. And since the clitoris has no reproductive function, since it is purely for the purpose of pleasure, it gets left out. Or worse, it gets reduced to a footnote. So most women grow up with no idea of what their own bodies are capable of. And when pleasure doesn't happen easily or automatically, they assume something's wrong with them. But nothing is wrong. They were just never given the map. So let's talk about those 8 to 10,000 nerve endings. The clitoris has more nerve endings than any other part of the human body. More than your fingertips, more than your lips, more than anywhere. And all of those nerve endings, they exist for one purpose: pleasure. Not reproduction, not function, pleasure. Which means that your body was designed to feel good. But here's the catch. Those nerve endings need the right conditions to function. So if you're stressed, your nervous system shuts down sensation. If you're rushing, the body doesn't have time to warm up. If you're performing or you're disconnected, pleasure can't land. So it's not enough to know where the clitoris is. You also have to create the conditions where it can actually feel. Okay, so how do you actually use this information? Well, number 1, stop separating clitoral and vaginal pleasure. They're not different systems. The clitoris is involved in all of it. So when something feels good vaginally, you can thank the clitoris. Thank you. Thank you. 2, prioritize arousal over speed. See, the clitoris needs time to engorge with blood. Rushing to stimulation before arousal is like trying to play a piano that's out of tune. Give your body the warm-up that it needs. 3, explore indirect stimulation. Because so much of the clitoris is internal, you can stimulate it through the mons, through the labia, and the vaginal walls. So pressure, movement, and rhythm can all activate these internal structures. 4, stop comparing yourself to anyone else. Every clitoris is different in size, sensitivity, and positioning. What works for someone else might not work for you, and that is completely normal. Your body is not broken, it's just unique. So understanding your clitoris is not just about anatomy. It's about reclaiming your right to pleasure. It's about knowing that your body was designed to feel good and that you're not asking for too much when you want that. If you found this video helpful, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a comment. And if it really helped and you want more, join the Sensual Sisterhood. That is my free community where we continue this conversation and so much more. The link is in the video description. You know what to do. And just in case you need reminding, your body is not the problem. It's the education system that failed you. But now you know better.